Okay, so I just checked the service schedule on the owner's manual, and it says to change the coolant here every 4 years. And by the looks of it, it does not look like it was ever changed, so I am going to do that. And all you need to do is just to loosen the drain bolt on the water pump, and it will all come out. And the drain bolt is right here. So this is the right side of the motorcycle, and if you look here, right here, this is the bolt right here. So I am going to unscrew this bolt, and the coolant will just drip right below it. Let me show you. I got my pan under it, and before you start doing anything with the coolant, just make sure that the bike is cold, like completely cold. Make sure that you are able to touch the the exhaust pipe, because even if it's even a little warm, you do not want to open the coolant, the radiator cap, because the system is pressurized and all the hot coolant, it will just spray out. And if it gets on your skin, it's gonna burn your skin. Okay, so this is the bolt that I need to loosen, and it's size 8, so I'm using 8mm socket here. Just gonna unscrew that. Okay, and even the cold coolant is not good for your skin, so I recommend wearing gloves while handling coolant. Then just unscrew it here. Okay, so as you can see, a little bit of the coolant is coming out. Okay, and it will start dripping more. All of it will come out once you open the radiator cap, this one right here. There. Now the radiator cap is loosened, and more of the coolant is coming out. So there it is, most of the coolant has dripped out. I'm gonna fully open this cap. Man, it's so tight. Ooh, more is coming out. Okay. Okay, so the cap is off. And now I'd say most of the coolant is out too. And as I removed this bolt, it should have had a washer on it, but there was no washer when I removed it, so it's most likely still stuck up. Oh, there, it was stuck up there. It fell in the coolant there. Let me show you. Here it is. So every time you change coolant, or drain your coolant, you are supposed to change this copper washer. Okay, so for now I'm just gonna put the old washer with it back on it, because I am not done with the process yet. Okay, I am gonna put this in there, as you can see. And then I am going to fill up the radiator with just distilled water. So what that's gonna do is, as you can see, distilled water. What that's gonna do is, what I'm gonna do is, so I'm gonna fill it up with distilled water, and then start it up for 5 to 10 minutes, so that the water circulates through the whole system and cleans any of the residue in there. And then I am going to drain the distilled water too, and then I am going to fill it up with the new coolant. So so adding distilled water is just to, to clean all of the old gunk, if there is any in there. Okay, so I just filled it up to the neck. Here, as you can see, up to the neck. And now I'm just gonna start it without the cap on it first. Okay, so as you guys just saw me struggling to get this bike started, it is, hopefully it is because, I removed the battery a few days ago and washed the bike just so that I could get rid of most of the gunk that was around it. It's still dirty, but it's so much cleaner than it was before. And I connected the battery back and everything is working, but it's not starting. And that is more, I think, because I forgot to ground the power commander. Okay, I am going to do that, and then hopefully that was the only issue. That is not connected. Okay. Let's see if it starts now. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. Oh, started. Woo. As I started it, the level of the distilled water went down a little, so I'm just gonna add a bit more. Back on it. Now just look around if you see any leaks or anything. Okay, so as you can see, the temperature level has gone pretty high. So by now, the water should have circulated all around the system. Now I'm gonna let it cool down, because again, you do not want to do anything with the coolant system unless the bike is fully cooled down. You should not be opening the radiator cap, should not be opening the drain bolt, should not be opening the reserve tank cap either. So I'm gonna let it cool down probably for 30, 40 or more minutes, and then I'll come back and drain the water from the system and then add the new coolant. Okay, so it has been about 30 minutes and the bike is cold to touch. Here. So I am going to loosen that drain bolt again. Okay, here is my 8mm socket going on the drain bolt and loosening it. There you see I am removing the bolt. Okay, so this time nothing came out. I am going to now open the radiator cap. Oh, there you go. So as you can see, I put distilled water in it, but still only green stuff came out. I am going to let it drain. And then now I'm gonna do it one more time with the distilled water because there seems to be more of the coolant in there and I want it all out of the system, or most of it. Okay, so one more time I am gonna put the old washer back on the drain bolt, screwing it back on. And up here, I'm gonna add distilled water to it one more time. Okay, so starting it again. So that any of the air that is in the system just flows out. I'm gonna leave that off for about 30 seconds and add coolant as it goes down. If you can see it, but like the air is coming out in form of bubbles there. I know it's dripping, but it's just going down in the pan, so that is fine. Okay, so it has been about 30 minutes and the bike is again cool to touch. So I am going to drain the distilled water one more time again. Okay, so the drain bolt is out, and now I am gonna remove the radiator cap. And there you see more green stuff coming out. but this time it's not that green. It is very light. Okay, I was able to clean the cap too with a rag, and what was left I just sprayed it down with the carb cleaner and then sprayed it down with water, and it is clean. And the radiator is almost out too. Okay, so now I'm gonna fill it with the actual coolant. Okay, as you can see on the owner's manual, it just says just use high quality coolant with corrosion inhibitor for aluminum motors. So mainly just you can just use any good coolant that is good, that has corrosion inhibitors and is good for aluminum motors. So I have this one. I'm gonna use this one right here. It's extended life corrosion inhibitor technology, free of silicates, then provides excellent high temperature aluminum protection. So it meets the requirements. I'm gonna add that up in here, but before that I am gonna put a new washer in here, because according to the user manual you're supposed to change this copper washer every time you change your coolant. Okay, so in order to get this copper washer, you can either go to your nearest KTM dealer and ask for the, the drain bolt washer for the water pump or the coolant system, whatever you call it. But what I have here is I bought these washers a long time ago just for this purpose. I used it on my other motorcycle, and what I ended up using for that one was this one, the M6 12x1 piece, and it looks like it's gonna be the same one here. So let's just see. Okay, here is the new one. It looks about the same size, and if you put it up here, yep, that's exactly the same size. So I'm gonna put this new one in here and then install that. So it's this one. This is the size according to this kit, M6 by 12 by 1 mm. I got this kit from Walmart a long time ago for I think 10 bucks or 15 bucks. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. Okay, so I'm gonna garbage this one and got the new washer on it. Now I am going to install it. Okay, so the torque specs for this bolt are very, very low. It's about 10 foot-pound torque. I don't exactly remember. So what I'm just gonna do is, so now it's tight, right? So it's tight. Now I'm just gonna give it a little bit of push. That's it. That's all you need to do. Do not over tighten it. Do not over tighten any bolts on this bike, because the engine is aluminum and you don't want to mess it up. If anything, you'll just see some of the coolant drip down from here, a little bit of droplets, and then you can just tighten it a little bit more, just a little bit. Do not do it too much, because that's what's gonna be more damaging to your engine than just losing a few droplets of coolant. Okay, so it's 50-50 pre-mixed coolant, which means that it's 50% antifreeze and 50% distilled water. And I'm just gonna, it's blue in color, you might be able to see here. I'm just gonna add, oh wait, forgot one step. You are supposed to unscrew this bleeder bolt by about 3 turns. Okay, so this is the bleeder bolt, so you're supposed to unscrew it by about 3 turns. That's what it says on the owner's manual. So you can either use a Phillips head screwdriver or a 10 mm socket, number 10. So I'm using a number 10 socket. It's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that should be it. Okay, so now you add the coolant from here and keep adding it until you see the coolant come out of the bleeder bolt on the other side, and then you close that bleeder bolt, because what that does is it just helps eliminating any air from the system. Coolant came out of the system after I added a bit more, so I'm just gonna put it back on now. As you can see here, it dripped here down there, so that is on. I'm just gonna tighten it. Again, do not tighten anything too much on this bike. Before I fill up the coolant reservoir tank, I'm just gonna start the bike to eliminate any air in the system. So I'm gonna start it without the cap on the bike. And here you should be able to see at first the level dropped, so I'm gonna add more coolant. You'll be able to see some bubbles coming out of the system. There. And now I'm gonna put the radiator cap back on it. And now I'm gonna add the remaining coolant in the reservoir tank. Okay, so make sure that you keep the coolant level between the min and the max marking. And after filling it up, just put the reservoir cap, oh shoot, back on it. Okay, and then go for a ride. And if you see that your bike temperature is going really high, you see it's overheating, that is mainly because there's air in the system. And you can, if there's any air, just open this bleeder bolt up a little bit, just a little bit. Air will come out, and once you see the liquid coming out of it, put it back on. Do not like fully unscrew it, because if the system is hot and you unscrew it, the coolant will just come splashing out. So just do it a little bit and then put it back on, and then just go for a ride. So yeah, if your bike doesn't overheat, then you did it good. Yeah, just make sure, and in the radiator, the level should be up to the neck, so it should be fully full, you know. And after that, for the old coolant, don't forget to recycle it, because this stuff is not good for the environment. So bring it to your local town recycling center and give it to them, and they will just dispose it off for you for free. And don't let any animals near it, because apparently it's sweet, and dogs or cats will drink it and they will die because it's poisonous. Alright, so that is all about the coolant change on this bike. And obviously after this, put all the fairings back on and it should be all good. I'm not gonna do that yet because I still have a lot of stuff to do on this bike, and a full video of everything that I did on this bike will be uploaded later on. So far I've done the oil change, air filter change, and the coolant change, and I'm also cleaning up everything in the bike, because if you look everywhere, there's like grass particles, leaves and stuff. Here, as you can see, there's webs. So I'm just gonna fix all that, clean all that, and hopefully get it ready for the next season.